All right, guys, so what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be filling this pot right up to, it tells you there's a fill line, and that's the minimal minimum, and that is the maximum. All right, so we're gonna be filling it to right there with the peanut oil. There we have it. This is the Loco peanut oil blend, and this is a 3 gallon. All right, so we're gonna put the 3 gallons in here, and chances are we're gonna probably need a little extra. All right, so that was 3 gallons right there, and you see I didn't reach that maximum line. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I usually don't like to mix the brands, but it's gonna have to work. All right, so I have like a 17-pound bird. So just estimating, I'm not gonna go all the way to that maximum line. I'm gonna kind of take a guess, and I'm gonna stop it right there. I wanna make sure that when I, through displacement, when I put the bird down, I don't want it to, get too close to the top to where we have the overflowing. All right, we connected the propane, and we got flame. All right, so we got to get this oil up to 350 degrees, give or take. This is going to take a little while. So now we sit and wait. All right, so just getting started. All right, guys, so want to apologize. This is a last minute video. I did not plan on filming this. So we are deep frying a turkey, and if I would have known, if I would have decided to do it earlier, I would have actually filmed the whole entire steps, all the ingredients, me buying the ingredients, seasoning it, pretty much the whole thing. But here we are. Anyhow, hopefully I can catch the main steps of it, all right? So this is the bird. It is actually about 17 pounds, like 16.49. And we use the Creole seasoning injectable for this one. So you would definitely want to make sure that this bird is completely thawed out. You want it to be as close to room temperature as possible. And I actually just try to pat it down a little bit without taking off all the seasoning, because the more wet it is, the more likely you to have splashes when you're dunking it into hot oil. All right, so here we are. We have our fire extinguisher, and last year we upgraded to this one. This one is able to put out like grease fires, oil fires, which is the one you're gonna need when you're deep frying. So those little red ones that you probably pick up from Home Depot, chances are those are not gonna be effective in an oil or grease fire. So what I will say is, prior to cooking it, you probably wanna test your unit, so make sure that it lights up properly. Make sure that your propane tank is completely filled up. So you don't wanna be panicking like I am right now. I'm doing it last minute. Wasn't even sure if my propane tank was full. Was hoping that my unit still lighted up, which it did. So just make sure you test these things beforehand so you're not panicking at the last minute. All right, so the temperature's climbing. We're about 200 degrees right now. All right, so something else to keep in mind, depending where you're deep frying, the weather might actually play a part in this. So if you're like in a colder climate, heating the oil up might take a little longer. Hence, frying the turkey might take a little longer. So just keep the weather in mind as well. So ideally, you want to be further away from the house than I am. And you definitely do want to be in a cement area. So this is not ideal. However, like I said, I'm taking my precautions, have my safety fire extinguisher there. So if you can get it further away from the house, is even better. So I just moved some of the chairs away a little bit to give a little bit extra space. But like I said, the more space you can get away from your house, the better. All right, so the brand that I'm using is actually a Loco-brand deep fryer, but I'm gonna actually link down below in the description. If I was buying a turkey fryer today, this is the one that I actually would buy. All right, guys, so something to keep in mind. So if you saw earlier, I did not go all the way up to the fill line, but as the oil is heating up, you can see it expanded, and now we're right at that actual maximum fill line. So something else to keep in mind. All right, so we're at about 325. Gonna try to go a little bit above 350, because when you put the bird in there, it's gonna cool down quite a bit. So it's gonna fall underneath 300 once we lower the bird. All right, so we're a little bit above 350. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, then we're gonna kill the flame, and we're gonna lower the bird.
Always have this on backup? Yeah.
Let's take this guy out. Let's lower it. All right, guys, this is the part.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you the option when putting it that way if you do it, right? Ah!
Shoulder workout.
Slowly. Slow and steady wins the race. Wow.
All right, she's in. Let's turn the flame back on. All right, we got the flame back on. Bird's inside. Now we're gonna do it for 3 minutes per pound. Now, some people do it 3.5, 3.25, but we're gonna do it for 3 minutes per pound. This is a 17-pound bird.
No.
So, not sure if you can see it, but the temperature is about 275, probably about 260. So once we lower the bird, it drops quite a bit. All right, there's our math. 17 times 3, 51 minutes. Let's do 53 minutes. Once again, we just wait. See, at this point, it does not get back up to 300. It's staying right around 250, 260. So according to the weather, the rain should be stopping in about 27 minutes. So hopefully it stops a lot quicker. What can we do? All right, so since we're waiting, let me just go over a few things that you want to keep in mind. So first of all, I like the Creole injectable seasoning. That's my favorite. I've tried different ones, and whenever I do that one, it always comes out tasting the best. Another thing to keep in mind is you want to obviously thaw the bird out, days before, and the morning of, you want to take it out like first thing in the morning. Now, today, I don't think we took it out in time. We actually slept in a little bit, and by the time I told my wife to take it out the fridge, I do believe we could have taken it out a lot sooner. Hence, the bird would have been warmer prior to dunking it in the hot oil. So keep that in mind. You want to get the bird down to room temperature before you're actually dunking it in the hot oil. All right, so when it comes to your unit, you want to test it before it's time to deep fry. Make sure that the unit lights up. Make sure you have your little thingy to light it. Make sure your propane tank is full, and that's ready to go. All right, so you just want to make sure these things are in line. Also, you want to have your fire extinguisher, right? And you want to have the one that's able to put out grease fires or oil fires, right? Not just that little regular one that you pick up from Home Depot or Lowe's. Very important.
Maybe like a Walmart. All right, guys, how to deep fry a turkey in less than 60 seconds.
All right, first step, we have it seasoned with the Cajun butter. Next, we're gonna add some peanut oil.
Maybe like a Walmart or something.
All right, so one thing to keep in mind is you're gonna see all the recipes, all the instructions saying to make sure it's at 350 degrees. But like I said, when you lower the bird in the oil, a lot of times it's gonna come down underneath 300, right? So don't panic. If you want, just kind of adjust on the fly. So instead of doing it 3 minutes per pound, maybe you go up to 3.5 minutes per pound. And the main thing is that once you're done, once you put that little thermometer inside the bird, you want to make sure you're about, I think, 165 Fahrenheit. So don't panic, just adjust on the fly, right? Let's check it out. I'm gonna take it out. Just gonna take it out, and this Loco pan has something here where we can just turn it, and then we just rest it right here. We let it continue to cook internally a little bit, and we take it out. Can't forget the neck bones. All right, looking good. Looking good. This is the guy that cooked that turkey. All right, guys, that's how I deep fry a turkey. Time for me to get changed and dig in. Hope you enjoyed.